Hey, Tom, you almost ready for the show?
Yeah, it's going to be a great show.
Kind of weird, though. It's not really like Greg to take a week off.
I don't know.
Tom, let me out.
Is there somebody in that trunk?
You've got to let me out. This is so wrong. Tom, are you there? Tom? Tom?
Nope.
All right, good enough for me. See you out there.
Tom? Let me out, Tom! Tom, are you there? Tom? Tom? This isn't funny, Tom. Let me out.
Comedy's subjective, Greg.
Tom! I'll get you for this.
If the nightingale...
This is not a joke. You gotta let me out. I can barely breathe in here.
Welcome to the Greg Gutfeld Show. I'm Tom Shillue, filling in for Greg, who's definitely on vacation and not in a Foot Locker somewhere. We've got an amazing show planned for you, so let's get right to it. Joining us on the phone is the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Hello, Mr. President. Are you there?
I'm here, Tom, and let me just say congratulations. Now that I'm here, your ratings are going to go through the roof. Plus, I fired Sean Spicer today. This will be the highest rated Gutfeld episode of all time. Oh, and Tom, by the way, Greg has not had me on since the very first show. I'm very disappointed.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. President. I hope I can do Greg's show justice.
Absolutely, Tom. I have a lot of faith in you. You're very good.
Thank you. Thank you. Any tips for what I should do?
Well, you just need to mention me every 15 to 30 seconds, and everything will be tremendous. I don't even need to be there. There's just something about hearing my name, Trump. It makes people sit up and listen, and it makes them very happy, I have to tell you.
Okay. Well, Mr. President, what do you think about O.J. Simpson dominating the news coverage on Thursday?
O.J. absolutely killed it on Thursday. He cut through all the other stories and really ran away with it. I have to tell you.
That's a very interesting choice of words.
Listen, he murdered those people, Tom.
I got it, sir. Oh, okay, look. And it seems like the O.J. story kind of eclipsed your big news for the week. You know, I know you were promoting Made in America. Are you at all concerned about that?
No, Tom, not at all. If O.J. Simpson wants to beat me in the ratings, he's going to have to climb back into that Bronco with Al Cowlings and drive slowly along the 405 with a gun to his head. And even if he does that, Tom, I'll just fire off another tweet to Dopey Morning Joe and Crazy Micah, and I'll be back in the headline. Did I mention she had a lot of work done? And that's good work,
I think you did, Mr. President. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, sir.
And Tom, listen, when they cancel this show the way they canceled Red Eye, I hope you don't get the blame. Even though, for some reason... Even though, for some reason, you always seem to be around when things get canceled.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for being with us.
By the way, I still don't like Andy Levy.
Oh, wow. Thank you, sir. President of the United States, ladies and gentlemen. What a week it was for President Trump. I thought things were crazy before Sean Spicer resigned. Well, we'll get to that in a bit. But the week started with the Republicans' efforts to repeal Obamacare, which went down in flames at the beginning of the week. The media called it an epic fail, a meltdown. But Trump shrugged it off because it was Made in America week. And he's trying to bring back jobs to the USA. So the media cried failure, and the president put on a cowboy hat and got into a fire truck. Now, how did the media react to that? screaming marmot. But really, I think that Made in America is a great thing to focus on. I mean, a lot of people think we don't make anything in America anymore, but that is not true. Just look at all the great stuff that we make.
Louisville Sluggers, made in America. Wonder Bread, made in America. Harley-Davidson motorcycles, made in America. The Alamo, made in America. Cans of whoop-ass, made in America. Tiny escalators, made in America. The Naked Cowboy, made in America. Scooby-Doo, made in America. Hamburgers this size, made in America. Magic Mike, made in America. Magic Mike XXL, made in America. Tom Brady, made in America. O.J. Simpson, I guess. Videos like this, made in America. And of course, these, made in America.
Yeah! Speaking of the media, they continued to focus on Russia. They discovered another so-called secret meeting between Trump and Putin at the G20 summit dinner. And you know what happens when the media starts reporting about a secret meeting? That's right, Trump tweets. Fake news story of a secret dinner with Putin is all sick. All G20 leaders and spouses were invited by the Chancellor of Germany. Press new. And you know what the media does when Trump starts tweeting about fake news? This. I could watch the screaming marmot all day. It's the mountain air. That's why he's hoarse like that. Yeah, the media doesn't like the tweets. In fact, this week, CNN posted an article called Trump by the Numbers to see what he's accomplished in the 6 months he's been in office. Their findings, 1,000 tweets, 0 major legislation. But what do Trump's supporters think of those numbers? That's right. You know why Trump supporters are still supporting him? Because they don't care about major legislation. That's not why they elected him. He's exposing the media as the liberal activists they are. And that's enough. They'd be okay with him simply saying fake news every day for the next 4 years. The word has tremendous power. Watch this. Fake news. You know what? Hold on a second. I'll take it even further. I think Trump could have walked into the White House on January 20th, pulled down the shades in the Oval Office, and done nothing but watch Netflix for 4 years. And all he would have to do to keep millions of people happy is, once a week, tweet, guess what? Hillary still isn't president. Because think about it. She's not. Let's welcome tonight's guests. Well, she's so bright, she's constantly attracting moths. Famous DC managing editor Kathryn Lyons.
I'll take it.
And he's so sharp, I use him to open all my fan mail. FoxNews.com contributor Stephen Miller. And her Cloud 9 is reigning. Co-host of the Fox News Specialist, Katherine Timpf. And he's the cause of 20% of the Earth's tremors. Former bodyguard and Greg's massive sidekick, Tyrus. Sean Spicer resigned Friday. He spoke with Sean Hannity Friday night. Listen.
From what I understand, and all the reports are, the president did not want you to go. Tell us what happened.
He didn't. He's been very gracious throughout this process. He wanted to bring some new folks in to help rev up the communications operation. And after reflection, my decision was to recommend to the president that I give Anthony and Sarah a clean slate to start from so that they can talk about the president's agenda and help move it forward. And he, after some back and forth, understood that the offer that I was making was something that was in the best interest of this administration. I thanked him for the opportunity. And I'm looking forward to watching Anthony and Sarah do a tremendous job.
I miss them already. And Anthony Scaramucci is now White House Communications Director. Katherine, were you surprised when this news broke?
You know what? Can you blame him? I think, if anything, his resume is going to be perfect now. He can put works well under death-gripping pressure, and anyone's going to hire him.
So do you think he did a good... Do you think Trump was ever really happy with Sean Spicer? Do you think there was ever a match there?
How can you not be happy with Sean Spicer?
You like him. I do.
Of course.
I loved, you know, and his, Stephen, when you talk about just ratings, Sean Spicer's press briefings, very high ratings.
Yeah, the best ever.
Yeah.
Any press secretary in history.
It is true.
Yeah, I don't know who's happier to be out of jail this week, O.J. Simpson or Sean Spicer. I think he's probably going to look back at, you know, his time as the White House Easter Bunny under George W. Bush as a high point. You know.
Well, look, do you think the messaging is going to change now? You saw Anthony Scaramucci. I call him Scaramucci. I like to say it like that. Yeah, Scaramucci. You saw his performance in front of the podium. He seems kind of like a Trump guy. Like he's loose. He seems a little tough. He seems a little like, you know.
Yeah, he's going to be the wolf of the Trump administration. He just needed the big microphone and, you know, everybody cheering. And yeah, he did. I mean, for all things considering, he did great today. He kind of just rolled up, kind of like Pesci and Goodfellas telling a story and waving a gun in the air. And took all the questions. And yeah, I mean, the press kind of really took to him. So all we're kind of hoping now is that, you know, Spicer doesn't end up on a meat truck to Layla, you know, the guitar solo.
That's exactly. So. He did great yesterday. I think you meant he did great yesterday. Yesterday he did. Kat, we're pre-taped. He's got to. Stephen has to learn the details of TV.
First time.
Kat.
He didn't wear a tie either, guys.
Kat, look, you called this. You called this on this very show.
Yes, I did. I called this.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Trump's elected. Who do you think would make a good press secretary?
I think that it will be a position with a lot of turnover. I don't think anybody will last probably longer than a week.
Not ready the Dragon Steamboat.
I really don't think so. I think it'll have to be, maybe they'll have to have like a team.
Yes.
A team of like, I did it yesterday, you got to go out there and do it now. Everyone laughed, but that's exactly what's happening.
They did.
Because it's Scaramucci, but also it's going to be, of course, Huckabee Sanders out there. They're switching. Spicer and her were switching. It's a tough job. I would rather be anything in the world than President Trump's press secretary or anybody's press secretary. I have enough trouble being my own press secretary and having to answer for my own behavior and opinions. I can't imagine being responsible for somebody else's. And Sean Spicer in that interview looked very happy for the first time.
He did look relieved, didn't he?
In a long, long time.
Very relieved. Let's take a look at Anthony Scaramucci's first outing and see how he did.
How are you going to handle when a crisis or a big thing comes up and you put a very sophisticated message out at night and the president in the morning tweets something very different?
Well, listen, I took trial advocacy at Harvard Law School, a little name dropping there if you don't mind, okay? And so I'm not going to answer that because that's a hypothetical, and the first thing they teach in trial advocacy is not to answer a hypothetical.
Hey, not bad. Tyrus, what do you think of his performance?
Well, that's a page out of my book when I do the press stuff. You hit him back with it. You know, he asked a ridiculous question, and instead of trying to appease him, he kept him honest. And he said, I'm not answering hypotheticals. Yeah. And the guy had to, and he alphaed him. He, like, gave him the look. You know what I'm saying? You just, you gonna ask me, you know?
Yeah.
It's like asking a married guy, what if you cheat? Why would you ask me that? You know what I'm saying? Like, my family's here, dog. Like, you know, so he did a really good job. And going back to Spicer, Spicer was a warrior. He took a lot of bullets. He pitched a lot of innings. So, you know, the arm was tired. So they had to go with, they had to go the left-hander.
Yeah, get the reliever in there.
Good job. Thank you, Mr. Spicer.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for your service, Mr. Spicer. Still to come, Michael Moore heads to Broadway. Will the show be terrible or really terrible? But first, OJ walks. Now everyone talks. I've got some tips for the Juice as he re-enters the real world. Don't go anywhere.
I wish this would have never happened. I apologized to him at my sentencing. You know, there's nothing I can do about this kind of media circus that's going on right now, but I could do something about the whole thing in the beginning. If I would have made a better judgment back then, none of this would have happened, and I take full responsibility.
By legal decree, the Juice will go free.
I've been pretty good with people, and I've basically spent a conflict-free life.
I want him to go home, and I know in my heart that he's very humbled.
Mr. Simpson, I do vote to grant parole when eligible, and that will complete this hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But it was a close call. You know, some of his answers were met with skepticism from the parole board.
I gave him my word. I believe in the jury system. I've honored their verdict. I have not complained for 9 years.
I think there's a hint of desperation about you.
I've got absolutely no idea why you've had any encouragement whatsoever.
America would hate you.
They always listen when he talks, don't they? That's so weird. Still, the 70-year-old Simpson was granted his release after he spent nearly 9 years behind bars. He, of course, was convicted in 2008 for a host of charges that including kidnapping and armed robbery stemming from a confrontation with sports memorabilia dealers in a Las Vegas hotel room. He could be out as early as October 1st, the same day I turned 21. Anyway, Juice, a lot's happened since you've been in, so here's some quick tips to help you transition back to the real world. First, Bruce Jenner is now Caitlyn Jenner. You gotta remember that. Remember your pronouns. There's no more running in airports. It's frowned upon. Social media is a great way to communicate with the outside world, but it can get you in trouble. We still don't know who let the dogs out, but the Baja men are doing great. And finally, murder, still illegal. Double murder, it's even worse. Stephen, what do you think? Do you think he spent enough time, 9 years, for the memorabilia crime?
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of OJ, but I'll take a stab at some thoughts here. What was interesting to me is like it was when all the networks kind of cut over to his parole hearing. It took me back to a simpler time when one singular super celebrity dominated news coverage for all day, night, and months on end.
It is amazing. I mean, it says something, Kat, about. What is it? Is it about the persona of OJ, or you're too Kat? What were you in kindergarten when the original OJ trial happened?
Yes, I'm very young. But I've since watched all the documentaries, and so now I consider myself an expert, which is why you watch documentaries.
Yeah.
And I think that he's going to go back to prison.
You do?
Yes, because when you're paroled, you have to live a conflict-free life to not go back. And he said he thought he had been living a conflict-free life. So if that's what he thinks it is, he's going to right back in there.
Yeah, maybe. Katherine,
as an expert.
Are you amazed at all the coverage this thing got yesterday?
Yes and no. I mean, this is like the Super Bowl of parole hearings. And I don't know, we're all longing for the 90s, right? So maybe part of us is kind of like longing for O.J. Simpson coverage, I guess, in a weird way.
It's true. I mean, well, we had the documentary, right? And then there was the drama that came out. So it's like O.J.'s back in a big way. But do you think he will reoffend? Or do you think he's going to be just, playing golf and...
I mean, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I think murderers are on another level of that. But one thing's for sure is that this is like the first thing I think America can agree on and be like, what the heck?
It's fine.
I agree with you about the 90s thing, though. I think that's probably why I love watching it, because I peaked in 2nd grade, so it's like really nice.
It's like a time warp.
Could you imagine social media and Twitter during the OJ trial? It would have been crazy.
Yeah.
It would just been, you know what, we would have had a President Trump 10 years before. We could have just skipped over Bush and Obama and gone right to Trump.
It is amazing. Tyrus?
Yeah.
Do you think that public perception has changed? I almost felt in the 90s that there was a racial component to it.
Well, I grew up in L.A., so I got to enjoy that and the riots. It was fun. It was a good time. So my issue with and there's a lot of jokes here, like, what reality show is he going to be on first? Is it going to be Keeping Up Kardashians with OJ? I mean, we just don't know because there's so many people are going to want to pay for him to talk. It's going to be a big thing. He might get in this chair. We don't know. But what bothers me the most is this OJ's parole thing was not news. He went to jail 9 years for trying to steal his own stuff.
Yeah.
Damn. That's a long time for theft. But it wasn't news. It wasn't a newsworthy story. But if the media is pushing a divided country, they think OJ could divide some stuff, could cause some issues, some riots, some bad things, and maybe our president will say the wrong thing. Maybe he'll take the wrong side. The media is trying really hard to keep pushing, and when they don't get enough, like when they first said the parole, and everyone in America was like, okay. Oh, by the way, exclusive, Furman's tapes. So now they're trying to take us back to like, and there will be a bunch of racial epithets there, and then someone will be like, hey man, that was racist. And then, oh, you're racist because you're saying he did. And then they're trying to start the whole thing. So for me, OJ's not news. I don't want to talk about him. He's an old man. He went to jail for stealing some stuff. His acquittal and his murder stuff had nothing to do with it. And let's move on. But they're trying really hard to find stuff to keep dividing this country.
We're the
they're
media, Tyrus.
Race card.
We're trying to turn up the temperature. God bless. Still to come. Did the man behind Kermit get fired for caring too much? But first, the big beautiful wall and the new feature the president says the wall must have. He says it's apparent the wall will be transparent. Last week, President Trump declared that his proposed border wall has to be see-through, just in case someone throws a large bag of drugs over it so you don't get hit on the head. I swear, this is real. Makes sense to me. It sounds rather painful. He told reporters aboard Air Force One, quote, "You need transparency. You have to be able to see through it. In other words, if you can't see through that wall, so it could be a steel wall with openings. But you have to have openings because you have to see what's on the other side of the wall." It's pretty sound logic. He continued, "I'll give you an example. As horrible as it sounds, when they throw the large sacks of drugs over, and if you have people on the other side of the wall, you don't see them. They hit you on the head with 60 pounds of stuff. It's over." He teaches us so much. And that might not even be the best part. The conversation was off the record until, according to the New York Times, the president decided his comments should be out there for everyone to see. And that's a good thing. We all know what happens when you can't see through a wall. Katherine, he seems pretty flexible on what kind of form the wall should take. That's pretty good, isn't it?
I mean, he laid it out right there. He laid it out. I mean, honestly, between the Kardashians and fidget spinners, I want to spare Mexico on what's going on this side of the wall.
You don't want them to see in?
No, no. They don't. I don't think they want to see in either.
Yeah, it may be. So, Stephen, did you know that this was a problem? Big sacks of drugs coming over and hitting people on the head.
Well, no, that's just because I just have mine flown over and then parachuted down. No, I think this is interesting because I think what he's setting us all up for is that he's not actually going to build the wall. He's just going to tell people he built it. So he's going to move, so it's going to be completely transparent and visible wall. He's going to move construction equipment down there and then show the reporters, look, we're building the wall. Here's the stuff. He's going to have Pence act like a mime in a box, act like he puts his hands up to the wall. He'll get Kellyanne to spray some Windex and ShamWow like this. And see, the wall's there. The wall exists. See, it's there, folks. We built it. MAGA 2020.
You're right. Mike Pence did work as a mime to support, to make money for college. Kat, did he just admit that the wall won't stop drugs?
Somehow. It seems the war on drugs has its limits. Also, it's interesting. There are probably some people who would love to get hit with a big bag of drugs. They might consider it a nice day or perhaps a business opportunity. Not me, of course.
So
I've never seen drugs. What are drugs? But you know, it's funny. It's funny. Like, I know he loves building stuff and likes to talk about building stuff and think about building stuff, but it's just like little peepholes. I didn't know. I've never heard of one death where you know, somebody actually is smashed to death with the bag of drugs that someone threw in the air. But that must just be because the Illuminati's covering it up. And I'm sure President Trump, it must be happening a lot.
It's so true. Tyrus, if the bag is so heavy that it's going to kill you by hitting you in the head, how are they going to get it over the wall? It doesn't make sense to me.
Death by kilo. American tragedy. And he made some money at the funeral, covered expenses. It was great.
But doesn't Greg always say that Trump is the wall? Maybe we don't even need the wall.
But we're missing the point. What I'm enjoying about this story is that he doesn't drink or smoke weed. So this is him in the back with him and his boys going, watch this, guys. You guys got to see this. So we're gonna have a transparent wall because we got to stop drugs. He'll say anything, and the press are literally like, oh, we got him. Oh my God, we got him, and he's laughing his ass off. I mean, here's the thing: it's a solar wall. It's see-through. It's glass. There's going to be sharks with freaking laser beams on it, ill-tempered groupers, and then every 4th of July there'll be Ferris wheels and they'll run a movie on it. It's going to be great. It's going to be the greatest show on earth. Is this wall? People will come.
I can't wait. Right?
I'm excited. Where you going this weekend? I'm going to the wall, bro.
I'm going to visit. Just don't get hit by drugs.
Vegas is done.
Michael Moore is coming to Broadway to bash Trump. I hope he's wearing sequins, too. Liberals have infiltrated all of our favorite institutions, the media, the military, and now, unthinkably, Broadway. Filmmaker Michael Moore will make his Broadway debut this summer with his one-man show, The Terms of My Surrender. Looks like it's going to be a hoot. Here's the website picture. See, it's funny because it looks like Trump is holding up the playbill over his head. You get it? All right. But is Broadway becoming too political? My next guest is the theater critic for the New York Post, who once wrote that a show was overrated, saying, quote, "The elite will flock to it because it's a hot ticket. But will tourists, who make up more than 50% of the Broadway audience?" He wrote that about Hamilton. Michael Riedel.
One wrong call in my entire career, and he never lets me live it down.
So your editor, you got a little flack for that Hamilton review?
Well, the problem is that Alexander Hamilton was the founder of my paper, the New York Post. And we had kind of a deal for tickets with the show, and here I was bashing it. So it didn't go down too well.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you exposing corruption?
But hey, the Post let me go after Hamilton. They let me go after it.
It's amazing. It's like Citizen Kane. He let you run the review.
Totally. And look how effective I've become. If you look at that show now, it's only grossing $3 million a week. It's a disaster. It's a flop.
Well, Michael, what do you think of Michael Moore on Broadway? First of all, I mean, you haven't seen it, but, you know, could you give me your supposed take on it?
Well, you know, I'm not really a Michael Moore basher if you get the old Michael Moore from Roger and Me, which is a terrific movie, and he was very funny in that. If he's funny on Broadway, if the jokes work, if it does not become an anti-Trump rant, it could be an enjoyable evening. But if it's going to be just 2 hours of bashing Donald Trump, it's going to be tedious.
Yeah, something tells me it's going to be 2 hours of bashing Donald Trump.
That is going to be tedious.
Probably. So you have made some other strange calls in your time. I think you had, was it the play Wicked? What did you tell the investors? You were speaking with the investors of Wicked.
I have told you too much about my career. I have a very good friend who was the producer of Wicked, a show you've all heard of. And I went out to see it in San Francisco, where they try shows out of town, and the show was in trouble. The creators were fighting with everybody, and it didn't get very good reviews. And I went out with my friend afterward, and he was really in the dumps. He was worried to get $14 million on the line for the show, and he said, "What should I do?" And I said, "Listen, you're a great producer, but sometimes you get flops. Close it in San Francisco, return as much money to your investors as you can, and they'll be there for the next one." So 14 years later, which is how long Wicked has been running on Broadway, he invited me up to see his 10,000 square foot country house in Connecticut. And by the time we finished the tour, which took 3 days, and got back to the kitchen, he said, "And this is the house I would not have had I listened to you."
Well, it's obviously track record. If you give it a bad review, I'd put your money on it.
You know, it's true. I said the little puppet show Avenue Q would last a month on Broadway. It ran 4 years. Book of Mormon, disaster.
Stephen, you think Michael Moore is going to be a hit?
I don't know. I think we've seen this. I think we've seen this show before, and we know that it inevitably ends with Michael Moore atop the Empire State Building fighting a squadron of airplanes.
It is perfect with our.
Should end with Michael Moore on top of the Trump Tower fighting a squadron of airplanes.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I mean, is it getting too political out there?
First of all, King Kong was a victim.
He was. He was.
Okay.
He was, Tyrus.
Special place in my heart for that guy.
Yeah.
First of all, Michael Moore, the first 10 minutes, he's going to be complaining about how Broadway is sexist.
Yeah.
Broadway is sexist.
Got it. It's a slow burn. You guys got it.
You know, it's going to be, we've seen all his documentaries. The world's still here. He's still angry. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be, and then Trump did this. And guess what he did? Like, bro, we talk to him every day. We don't need to play on what Donald Trump's doing.
Yeah.
We see it every day. And he does the same thing. And maybe if there's going to be like a buffet or something in there, but it's literally just going to be Michael Moore just complaining for 2 hours. I do that at home. I don't need to go pay to see that.
I think that any Broadway show can become conservative with just a few changes, right? For example, Michael Moore, the terms of my surrender, change the leading man. You've got Chuck Norris rejecting the terms of your surrender. Or how about this? A chorus line? Change that. Assembly line. Because kick lines don't add anything to the GDP, my friend. 1984, the George Orwell classic, is now on Broadway. But the conservative version? 1984. Reagan defeats Mondale. Yeah, I knew that'd get it. Lion King, Lion Ted. And finally, cats, nah, dogs. I don't know why. It just seems more conservative. Kat, are you going to see Michael Moore's show?
I am not going to see it because I don't want to. That's all I have to say.
That's it. Coming up. Should Kermit the Frog be allowed to tell a lie? It's the debate to end all fictional frog debates. Next. The internet's agog over a guy who played a frog. I speak of actor Steve Whitmire, who's voiced Kermit the Frog for the past 27 years. He says he was fired by Disney because he spoke up about changes being made to the character. That and a union disagreement. Whitmire says one incident of note happened during the short-lived Muppets TV series. He objected to a scene where Kermit was going to lie to his nephew, Robin, about breaking up with Miss Piggy. He explained, quote, "I don't think Kermit would lie to him. Kermit is too compassionate to lie to him to spare his feelings." Meanwhile, Disney and the Muppets studios say they canned Whitmire over unacceptable business conduct. As for Kermit, maybe it's been a long time coming.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Piggy. I'm going to fire you. Piggy, you are fired. You are fired. Piggy, you are fired. Fired.
Trumpian. Kat, do you feel bad for this guy?
I do, because he's been playing Kermit for 27 years. That's a long time, and that pretty much only prepares you to play Kermit. I mean, they're not like skills you can use in another job. Those are Kermit-only skills, and now he can't be Kermit. So I don't know. I'm guessing, though, he's probably the kind of guy that does a lot of playing Kermit on his own time.
Yeah. That's true. Well, he had the voice. He's also, I think he's, if I'm correct, he's the puppeteer as well. He did the voice, and he's got to run the puppet. So he's pretty talented, right, Tyrus? Do you think Disney made the right decision
Listen,
here?
it's a tough time for the Muppets right now, okay? Cookie Monster just got caught with cocaine in the system. Elmo's out there handling on Times Square. I mean, it's just a bad time to be a Muppet, bro. No one's seen Gonzo since the bird flu stuff went down. I mean, it's just a rough time. Let's be real. Kermit the Frog is 62 years old. He's going to be a little jagged. He's a little grouchy. He's 62 years old.
Yeah.
So I read the thing like they fired him because Kermit doesn't get grouchy. He's a damn puppet. He doesn't get anything. He can lie, cheat, steal. He can pop lock. He can be racist. I heard he still won't respect toads as amphibians. I mean, there's all kinds of drama with Kermit. He's an old man born in the 50s. He's going to act a fool. He probably would forget who he is. Plus, he married a pig just to make money. I mean.
Wow, that is putting a sinister spin on it.
Muppets are sick, man.
Katherine, So, are you on Team Disney or Team Kermit? What do you think?
I feel bad for Kermit. I read his statement. It seemed very sincere. Also, who said that he just started becoming depressed? Have you heard him for the last 27 years? I mean, he's basically like Eeyore in Frog version.
Yes. Wait, you remember that? It's not easy being green. He was always depressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be too if I was a puppet.
Stephen, do you think that this guy let playing Kermit go to his head?
I mean, maybe. He was with him for a while. It was also reported in the New York Times story that he supposedly filmed off his contract. He filmed a video with Kermit, Miss Piggy, and Fozzie Bear with an undisclosed company, and he won't disclose it. So I think we all kind of know probably what that means, and, you know.
Yes.
Russian.
Yeah.
It's true.
2 puppets, 1 puppet.
Well, look. What about, Tyrus, like on this show, do you ever confront your bosses if you don't agree with the direction of the
Greg?
show?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah,
but
confront him all the time.
He's open to your artistic vision for the show, is he?
Sure he is. Shut up and do it, Tyrus. Greg's mean. I'm glad he's gone. Thank God you're here. Greg's mean. He's a bully.
He got you the chair.
In lieu of pay. Like, there's a chain underneath this. When everybody leaves, I have to stay here. Like, he's a bully.
I didn't know that Disney owned the Muppets. Did you know that? They seem to be...
They own everything. They own us.
Yeah, that's true.
What haven't they bought? They got Star Wars now, right?
Yeah.
Now they
Marvel.
got the Muppets.
Marvel.
Well, Universal has Marvel.
They got Marvel.
The moon, the sun, the stars.
Just
in the
wait
sky.
for Kermit to be really Darth Vader. I mean, that's just what, he'll rip the thing off.
That's
and
why
like,
everyone's
we knew
leaving
it.
the White House. Disney's going to come in,
right?
Take over.
I wouldn't mind. They're doing wonders with the Star Wars franchise, are they not?
No.
They also have Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'm not going down that road again, Tom.
All right. I think that I like what's going on. Rogue One, that girl, whatever her name is, I like
She
her.
died.
What?
There's
Spoiler
nothing going
alert.
on there. They all died. If you
More
ain't seen it by
after-
now, get out.
More after this. If you leave now, I'm calling you when I get done here. A couple reminders. First, I have a new book, so go buy it. It's called Mean Dads for a Better America, a perfect summer book to read when you're lying on the beach or maybe poolside. Second, don't forget to tune in to my new radio show, The Tom Shillue Show. Airs Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox News Radio. We are running out of show, so...
What you've wanted to say all show, but haven't had the chance to say, so here's your chance to say it. Right now.
Katherine, you're regular on Tucker. I love your segments.
Thank
How often
you.
are you on?
You're just going to have to tune in and find out
Oh, boy.
on a weekly basis.
It's right. It's right. Tune in to Tucker every night, and every
Every
once in a
night.
while, you'll see Katherine's smiling face. Fantastic. Stephen, what's the deal? Can you tell us about the... Well, go ahead. What do you got? What do you got there?
Oh, I don't know.
I was going to ask you about Wonder Woman.
Oh, jeez.
Did you ever go see Wonder Woman?
I did see Wonder Woman. I got in there. They let me in, and they were great. And Alamo was great, and the theater was great. It was a great time.
You bought a ticket to an all-female screening of Wonder Woman.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But they let you in, and they were nice to you.
Yeah, the theater was great.
You didn't even shave?
No, I kind of didn't even go in drag. Didn't even go in my Wonder Woman costume. Yeah. So,
Fantastic.
yeah.
But they were nice to you. So it proves. I mean, women are nice.
That's right.
Okay.
That was you?
And that was me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
See? These guys
It's
are
all coming
DC
together
famous.
right
Kat, what have we got?
Well, Greg is gone. He's on vacation, which means that I am the only member of this show to never miss a show. Clap for me. I need
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect attendance.
Yeah, perfect attendance.
Get her a pendant. Tyrus, you're relaxing over there? You got
Yeah,
a
I was
recliner?
just thinking I'm excited because I'm on Preacher on AMC, so make sure you check that out. I play a Hell Guard. It's not like Be Here where I'm a heavily positive guy, so it's a complete different thing. And I don't like John Cena. I think I want to punch him in the mouth. We work out at his gym, and I asked him, I said, hey, John, man, how's your week? Like every week, great. I hate you, John Cena.
You don't like those sunshiny personalities?
No, like I'm winning always.
Yeah.
Have a bad day, bruh. Try it.
Well, so tune into AMC. Preacher, Tyrus will be on there. Kat Timpf, I'm going to get you a medal for your perfect record.
Yeah.
Stephen, watch it with those private screenings.
Yeah.
And
It wasn't private.
Katherine, I love you. Very special thanks, Kathryn Lyons, Stephen Miller, Michael Riedel, Katherine, Tyrus, President Trump. President Trump, Johnny DiDomenico, and our studio audience. I love you guys. I'm Tom Shillue. I'm fading away.